Hello, I'm Brian LaBelle at AWWA ACE 2022 in San Antonio, Texas. I'm talking with Dave Stewart of Stewart HDPE Consulting. Dave, welcome to the GF Piping Systems booth. Thank you for coming by to talk with us. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're an HDPE consultant. It's the name of the company. How long have you been doing HDPE?
I started working with HDPE back in 2007 and became an open cut installation expert. We originally used HDPE for a force main that was going in within 150 feet of a lake. And I asked the contractor why we couldn't use HDPE pipe for water lines. Since it was leak free, it would take a large amount of my system leaks out of my system if I could get rid of the belted spigot. And the supplier told me, Gajeski Pipe, told me that it could be used for water line, it just wasn't very common. So I went back to my city manager and told him that I thought we ought to do a pilot project with HDPE pipe. And after about 3 years, he finally decided to let me try it on a 7,200 foot line. We learned the hard way how to put it in the ground and then help write the book for others so that it wouldn't be as hard for them to put it in the ground.
Like anything, there's always a learning curve, right?
Definitely, if the people around you haven't been putting HDPE in for water, somebody's got to learn.
Yeah.
And most of my tutors were from the gas industry. Since then, the support system for HDPE pipe has really grown.
Yeah.
And you have the Alliance for PE Pipe with an immense support base, along with Plastic Pipes Institute and all their publications that are available online,
right,
which helps both the installer and the system designer. The industry has been adaptive. I've asked George Fisher to manufacture me 3 or 4 different specialized fittings, and we did the beta test on the fittings, which made our installation easier, and they're now a regular shelf item that's available for sale by George Fisher.
Well, we sure thank you for that. I mean, we're an innovative company, but we're only innovative because we develop relationships with people like yourself who really know the industry, know the applications, know the products, and can come to us with needs. And that's one of the biggest sources, probably the biggest, most important source of information that we have that we can act on and innovate and create new products. And so, appreciate you bringing those things to us.
Well, before, third-party damage is one of the things that make systems hesitate to switch over to HDPE pipe, which is your first party is the installer, your second party is going to be the owner, your third party is the guy who's digging in your ditch that shouldn't be there and pokes a hole in your pipe. Well, they're poking a hole in everybody's pipe. But it's HDPE being a fused pipe has a different repair scenario.
Gotcha.
And one of the first items that George Fisher made for us was a fusible electrofusion patch that went on top of possibly an auger hole.
Yes.
It looked like a half a football that we would just prepare the surface and fuse it on top of the hole. It's an electrofusion repair patch. We actually had a third-party damage and we went out and used it, and it just didn't quite work out the way that we wanted it to. So we sent a list of suggestions back to George Fisher. We got a second prototype, beta tested it on the next third-party damage, and it worked perfectly. And it's basically on the market based upon the second prototype. And I found that to be sort of universal around the industry, is that if you do have a relationship with a particular HDPE supplier based upon what locale that you're in, they'll usually listen to you and then try to make something that'll suit your needs, particularly if they see a marketable value to it.
You bet, sure.
And the patch definitely had marketable value. Since that patch, we've got better squeeze tools, which allows us to isolate the leak. The PPI MAB has a repair manual, MAB 8, which helps people work with third-party damage.
Right.
And we're seeing industries step up and making stuff on their own. George Fisher was one of the first to come up with a boltable repair clamp that would be a slip-on where you would just simply cut the injured area in two and then slide this over the injury area, or use two of them to cut in a pup.
Right.
Which has the same shelf life, you know, almost as the pipe itself. I mean, you're looking at a 60 to 70-year repair clamp.
Absolutely.
On a 100-year pipe, which is not bad at all.
Not bad. That's interesting. So for some people may not know, you talk about the pinch tool or the squeeze tool. That's one of the inherent properties of HDPE, and one of the advantages of HDPE pipe. You can clamp it down, you can crimp it down and isolate a section of pipe that needs to be repaired. You can't do that with other materials. You can't do that with PVC, you can't do it with ductile iron.
It allows you to leave more houses in service while you're working in a very localized repair area.
Right.
It is one of the greater advantages. In third-party damage, while it happens, it's not a daily thing like it is a leak thing with PVC pipe, splitting belt spigot, or a piece of AC pipe getting a point beam break in it. If you have a ditch, it doesn't matter what's in that ditch. Somebody is going to dig in your ditch eventually, and they're going to damage whatever's in it, whether it's a cable TV, an underground telephone cable, a gas line, a water line, a force main. You just can't, people don't follow the 1-800-DIG rules, and they're going to hit your pipe.
Yeah.
But in the last 10 years, the HDPE manufacturers have stepped up and provided multiple ways to repair HDPE pipe. And I prefer having 3 different methods for each repair scenario. Preferably, you cut the bad section out and you butt fuse in a pup, and you have your monolithic system again. But having a wraparound with the restraining teeth on it is an acceptable means of repair.
Right.
Provided you make sure that you drill out and make sure there's absolutely no possibility of a crack propagation.
Well, I'd like to show you the GF Vaga multi-joint 3000 plus repair coupling. We actually have one here in our booth, and it's ideally suited for the kind of repair that you just described. We were talking about repairability, these third-party damages, and how do you repair a damaged HDPE pipe. You mentioned the patch. Sometimes there's too much damage. You can't make your repair with a patch. You've got to cut the pipe. You're either going to have to cut it way back and refuse in a section to re-achieve that monolithic piping system. You could also use a product like this. This is the GF Vaga multi-joint 3000 plus repair coupling. So it's a mechanical restrained repair coupling. And this can be used on HDPE pipe and a wide variety of pipe materials as well. But for the repairability of HDPE, this would be an important tool in your tool basket to solve those problems.
So, if you have a strange damage that's a ripping, or the hole curls too much, you're going to have to cut it out and you're going to have to put it in a pup.
Yep.
And these showed up, and I first came aware of them about 5 or 6 years ago, but the mark is the gripper teeth right here.
Yep.
So now you can cut your damaged section of pipe out, and you can mechanically bolt in a replacement section of pipe, and you don't have to worry about slippage because these teeth here won't let it slip.
That's right.
And you can slide it over on the pipe and then put your pup in and then center it on your pup. Of course, it would take 2 of them.
That's right.
But by bolting it down and this getting that grip there, it was a new repair option. It's, on the HDPE side of a job, you're pretty much guaranteed that every valve is brand new. Mm-hmm. But on the legacy side, if you're tied on to an existing valve, there's no guarantee that the water's going to shut off. And if that's the case, then you can't fuse. And this resolves a leaky legacy valve problem, because even if the valve is leaking by, the water doesn't bother the seal on this thing.
That's right.
This was a game changer. This design and Of course, you know, it's the same thing for the industry. There's multiple manufacturers.
Yeah.
But I remember running into this about 6 years ago, and I put it in my toolbox as a possible repair.
Yeah.
It can also be used as transitioning from a legacy pipe to an HDPE pipe as well.
Absolutely.
So it's a multi-purpose, but if you're talking third-party damage, this thing has it widens your capabilities of being able to fix a leak faster.
That's right.
As for transitioning, it'd work for that. Of course, that's going to be a dry environment.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking time to talk with us, Dave, and to share your experience, and we really appreciate you taking interest in GF Piping Systems, and hope you have a great show.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.